excuse me, we're going to be testing ground, and we're going to be looking for problems and finding problems and cutting out useless wire and making the wire that's there nice and neat and tucked in so we don't kick it and step on it and roll in it and tell it we love it and marry it and then get divorced to it. Hello guys and girls. Well, today I'm going to be working on some wiring on this truck, and I'm sure you're all so excited to see that, but there really isn't a whole lot to show, but I'll show you the before. None of my lights work. I've gotten a lot of new parts. Still got these spark plugs to put in. I've got new headlights, just basic headlights, and I've got some switches and stuff in case I can't get the normal stuff to work that's already on the truck. Here's a little fuse block, but I did want to show you that I got a key ignition like you would use on a lawnmower or something. We're going to install that. Here it is. So I also got a new dimmer switch. Although now I'm not so sure there was anything wrong with the old one since they both work the same. These wires are a little corroded, but so if we have this and it's a spare and it's good, well, I'll just keep it. If I plug the old one in and it works. But either way, we're gonna get started on some wiring, and that's not gonna make a very exciting video, but we'll get to show you the before and after. I think I'll probably go ahead and hook up this 1 gauge cable as well, and I need a battery container to put that battery behind the seat safely, like a boat battery container. Other than that, you can see I put 1 headlight in already. It's nice and shiny. Under the hood here, I'm gonna go ahead and change the spark plugs, see if it'll run better. And yeah, we have this kind of a contact switch, you know, that lets the lights turn on or off. These go bad. Oh yeah, that's just a magnet. I just broke it off. Anyways, those things go bad. It's like a little magnetic switch in there, and I don't trust them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use something like this wiring loom, and you see it's already going here for opening and closing. So maybe somebody's already bypassed it, who knows. Let's see what else. I got a new switch, because this switch is definitely bad. Whenever I pull the lights on, see the, let's see if we can get it out of glare. You see the amp meter? Right, that works. But if I pull it to just the accessory setting, look at that. So we got some sort of a short going on. So I'm going to change the switch first, because it doesn't work too well with the dimmer setting either. But just like the other one, if the parts are good, we'll save it. We'll look into all this up under here, tighten all that up. Probably have to redo these wires going to the rear. And I say that because they don't look too good right here. Broken wires. Right, it looks kind of like a mess, if you ask me. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, I see what's going on. This wiring and stuff goes to this lock. So it used to have a thing where you turned it and then it electrically unlocked these doors, huh? That's interesting. I'll have to monkey around with that and see if it actually works, because I could put a switch somewhere. I don't have any door locks currently. Here's where we're gonna put that switch, right? We got all these wires just chilling. So everything needs to be cleaned up. Some sort of a relay there. Probably for that AC stuff I pulled out. I'm gonna have to pull this out and put a new vent in when it's not filled with mud dauber nest. Probably got to cut this lock off. Although the vent still works with the lock there. Maybe I'll just leave it for right now. Who knows? Let's just open that. Next time I test drive it, I won't remember. So that's what we're going to be working on. I'm not going to bother you with showing you all that. Instead, I'm going to show you something I picked up for 200 bucks. A guy wanted 250, but then he damaged it a little bit. So I got this asphalt car that had been used on the dirt as well. And it's missing some stuff, as in everything. But for the price, I can't complain. There's no steering hardware attached, so these tires can move independently. But check out that roll cage, is pretty serious. I'm liking it. Be pretty safe, especially since I'm only putting a 305 in here. And this body is quite wide. It's got like a later model Camaro looking rear end. Missing the differential, but I managed to get a differential for it as well for free because it's just laying in the field. But yeah, you can see the width of it, size of them tires. And in the front, of course it's all hurt and damaged, but that's because it was 200 bucks, guys. Anyways, all that came with some extra wheels that are also bad. And this differential, if I'll get it flipped over, actually a posi. They've been sitting in the mud. You can see S-type spring with these friction plates, and that's gonna have to be rehabbed. And by rehabbed, I mean just sprayed with some juice, because I don't care if it's locked or not for what I'm gonna be doing. Okay. You can see in here there's no motor. And what do we have? We have a square tubing frame. I'll bring you in the rear and so you can see what it looks like, but now we're coming through here. See what we're working with. It's pretty solidly built. And I was told they used the Camaro clip. And of course this is some aftermarket upper A-arms. You can see how this is all manufactured. This is to hang that differential. Actually got a bumper back here that follows the design of this piece. Let me know if you think I should just take all this body stuff off, or if I should just, you know, go ahead and just try to make it look as neat as possible, what's left, and then put some more sheet metal and call it done. This is the part that tore when he was loading it. How that happened is because he was picking it up with the forklift by the top of the roll cage, and then it slipped and it tore this quote-unquote A-pillar, because I can just reattach that. I'm not too worried, but we'll see how it goes. This one's going to be kind of just sitting here for a while. Here's the new light switch that they sold me from you know, AutoZone. So I'm going to see if I push this button up underneath the dash, if it'll just the handle will pull out. And if that's the case, we can probably also pull the wire harness off and see if this switch seems to work better than the old one, if it's giving us problems. If not, then we can try to determine if it's something else. If it's just a switch, right, that's keeping my running lights from working, that would be best, because then I wouldn't have to do as much to make it work. So let's see here what happens when I pull on that switch. See if I can find it. Oh yeah, there's the button right there. Okay. There we go. Pulled it out. The lights are on though. I'm going to go ahead and put that back in to turn the lights off, and then remove this wiring harness. As soon as I can figure out how exactly that clips in. I don't think it's clipped in at all. Maybe I just need a screwdriver to pry on it. Well, a wise man would probably disconnect the battery here. There we go. All right. Got that switch off. The prongs do look like they're right. Maybe a little bit different, actually. Oh, there's just one that goes to nothing. Ah, there we go. Now, let's see. Oh, we're still losing 30 amps. Okay. So I just wanted to test that, right, before I go pulling this thing out, because this one might work. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this knob back in and plug this baby. Oh, look, we missed the ground. That could be a problem. Let me pull that back off and see if that fixes my issue. That could fix something. Or maybe it doesn't matter, but it might matter. And this one has to be this way. Okay. Nah, it's still not right. Still not right. Okay, well, we'll save this one for later. Here's that button, how it works. You just push the button. I think you gotta have them on. Yeah, you just push the button and then it comes out. Well, now it doesn't want to stay in here. Whatever. I'll pull it off and I'll put the new one on. Anyways, that's the way these wiring things go. So I don't want to waste all your time watching me fiddling with stuff backwards and forwards and testing grounds and all that. Here's the old light. It had some sort of course there's rust in there, but it had some sort of a halogen aftermarket light thing going on. Let's see if I can get that off one-handedly. See, like a normal car. If these housings were good, I would have reused them, but the reflector's all rusted up. So I just went with the cheapest option they had. Sylvania H62, well, it's H6024. And I'll show you how that looks getting installed. It's not that big of a deal. I already took it off, but we'll see if they work. The wiring looks okay to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn the headlights on. And okay, so we got two lights working. Show you. You can kind of tell that it's working and that one's working. But when I hit the dimmer switch, I think they just turn off, which is another weird aspect of this thing. We're going to have to figure out. Yeah, so in the dimmer switch, they're just off. And I don't think that that was really set up for high-low. He probably had his low beams working off of these things. Maybe. I'm gonna have to look in and see what they're doing, because they patched in the wiring right in here. And it's a little bit hard to see, but bear with me. It's a bit of a mess. So we'll have to see we'll have to see why we're not getting power to that other side when we go on the low beam. And if I have to run some wires, it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, just discovering what's going on here. I think they got it wired for, now this one's not working. Oh, there we go. Got loose wiring connections. There it is. Well, we'll sort that out. We'll jam them in there real good whenever we put it in. We needed all the nut size here to be able to hold this baby down. It doesn't take so much power. It's gonna blind everybody in the county. Damn. How much more she got? Of course, the nut has to get stuck at the very end, right? That's the way it goes. If you ain't been there, then you ain't done much. That's how it goes. All right. Got this wire that probably does no good at all other than to ground out my switch. And looks like that one is tied in. Yeah, this has got to be my dimmer switch light wire, because it's coming out of the harness all nice and neat. So that's probably why my dimmer doesn't work. That's probably it right there. Okay, well, gotta do what we gotta do. Okay, we're shedding garbage. I'll leave the ground they got there. That's fine. Let's see what else is happening under here. There's a loose wire in this harness. I'm trying to figure out where it goes. Seems like it's just this ground wire. Yeah, that's just the ground. Okay, that's fine. So, we need to get the multimeter and see if this wire here makes power when we're on like highs or lows or whatever. Yeah, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and expose this one. In the case that wiring harness is jacked up somehow, I'm gonna have to make new wires. I'll bring you back in here when I figured something out. Okay, here's what I got. There's this little connector, and one of these is high and one of these is low beam. And then there's this wire here that's the ground, right? And I'm looking here at these lights and they're not wired correctly. They have a wire going to ground, and then the wire that goes to power the different light elements isn't really hooked up right. Somebody's messed with it and did it wrong. So I'm gonna fix that real quick, and then we should be good to go on the headlights. Okay, as I suspected, I went ahead and wanted to test this. This low one here is on, right? I'm reading 11.5 volts. And I'm gonna go over and click that dimmer switch, and this is gonna turn off. So see, I'm not touching it. Hit this dimmer switch. And now we got nothing. Let me set it up here. At the bottom one, we got nothing. If I plug it into the top one, maybe I lost my ground. let's see. Try it again. All right, nothing. The bottom one I got 12.1, 11.9, whatever. And the top one I got nothing, right? Let me go click that switch and see if it turns on. Now we got 12 volts. I'm gonna go hit the switch again. Yeah, nothing again. And then when I switch it over to that bottom prong, it should have power. Yeah. So everything's wired right up to here. I think this is a ground, but I'm not really sure. Doesn't appear to have any voltage, but I couldn't get any continuity to ground on it either. So continuity tester, I don't know if you can hear that, but see, continuity, right? So ground to ground. So what I would want to do is I want to check this wire, right? And it's no continuity to ground. So I don't know what this wire is. Might be a horn wire. Hard to say. But I'm going to go ahead and cut that off so it's not grounding out on something. And then we're going to go ahead and figure out if it's, see if the wiring is bad where it goes through this firewall connector. See if it just plugs in. You know, it doesn't really kind of look like it hangs on there all that well, to be honest. So I'm going to see if that's where it's bad. Because once I get to these connectors, it's not doing what it's supposed to. So we're going to get that sorted. But I just wanted to show you that little bit of troubleshooting technique. Okay, as you can see, it's lit up. And what I found out is that at least one of the wires was grounding out somewhere. So I went ahead and bypassed it with this wiring here. See, it's not really in there too good, but it's in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to what now? There we go. I'm going to go ahead and hit the dimmer switch and see if it dims. Turned off on me because my shoddy wiring. I literally just shoved the wires in there, so it doesn't surprise me that it's not making a good connection. Okay, so there we go. Did it switch over? I don't know. Can't tell. It's not dark enough outside. Anyways, I'll check out the video later and see, but I think that's the solution. All right. I think I cleaned up those connections pretty good, so I'm going to test the highs and lows now. Okay, I'm thinking that should be low beam. Both lights are on. All right, doesn't look particularly exciting. All right, both lights are still on. Can't tell if they're low or high, but they did both stay on, so hopefully that's good enough to drive it and pass inspection. All right, next I'm gonna move on to these running lights, which none of them work except for the right rear one, which is the furthest away, which is funny. All right, the saga continues. This wiring, for some reason, the guy had one of these wires go into ground. I don't know if you can tell what I'm talking about, but these are the wires that go across to the running lights in the front and the turn signals. And then digging deeper into that, I had to take these housings off because these stock connectors were not making good connections anymore. They were basically worn out. The center pieces were coming apart. So I bought these, but this is what I'm going to use now. But this is what I bought first, which fits perfectly into here. It has a little notch that's made just for it. The problem with this bad boy here, direct replacements supposedly, the problem with it is that you get your light bulb, it's this way. You lock your light bulb in and it's got too much freedom to move, and then it loses its ground and your lights don't work. So this is garbage. This is a Dorman. This is a different Dorman, universal, and this one's got little springs in it. So that's what I'm going to try now. Not only does it have little springs down on the wires, individual, but it's a whole metal case, and then we have this little tab where I can run the ground direct to the base. So I'm hoping this is going to solve my problem, and we're going to test that right now. Yeah, that sucker's in there tight. I think it's going to work, but we'll see if we get turn signals real quick. I'm going to just knock it together. These wires don't seem to care, but this old one, the white one, is the running light, and the colored one is the turn signal. And then I'm just going to run this little alligator clip to the ground. So this light should be wired. Keep these from touching each other and getting on here. Now this wire over here I disconnected from the rest because it wasn't working right. Where did I put my plug? Here we go. So there was a problem in the wiring at the firewall, so I went ahead and broke that baby off of there because it works right at the firewall, but somewhere after the firewall is where the wiring's messing up. So this plugs in right here like so. So now I'm going to go ahead and run some wire up through the hood like it's supposed to, and then simulate this, but this is all going to be new. But for right now, I'm going to just jump some wires across there and see how this turn signal and stuff is going to work correctly or not. And I'll bring you guys back when I have it all blinking and flashing and hopefully working right. Okay, this is where I'm at with the running lights. Those housings are working. It looks like this rear light here maybe isn't wired right. I see we got a license plate light. We got the turn signal on the right rear. But this one seems a little weird. But anyways, we can pull that lever. Oh, the switch is a little funny. There we go. You can see it's working. I think that turn signal is just a little corroded from lack of use. You can see that one's working. For some reason, this one's oh, it's because of low voltage. I've been running the lights all day without running in the vehicle. Haven't turned it on yet. I imagine it'll pulse even more with the headlights on. Even the headlights are dimming. I think I need to put some gas in this thing and start it. Let's see. Let me turn those turn signals off. So you can see, oh, this wire's a little bit loose on the floor too, huh? There we go. Low beams, high beams, low beams, high beams. And we're gonna need to work on this connection a little bit too. That's what was just making them dim. So basically got it figured out. I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back together, but I just wanted to show you how that little housing looks whenever I put that light in there. So I'll bring you right back for that real quick before it gets completely dark, and then I'm gonna get going real quick to put everything up before it gets super dark. And we'll get a shot of it with the hood shut and the lights on and such, and walk around and then call it a video. I just got a ground clip to it here, but here's how the light looks. And you can see it fits nice and neat in there. And those little pieces of metal kind of spring out. If I thought they were going to fall out, I would bend the tabs back, but we don't really need to do that. So this is how it's going to be. Just going to put it back up in the hole. I stripped one of the bolts out, so I'll probably run a self-tapper on the housing. It only had two, one on each corner opposite of each other. So there's holes for more, so that's not a problem. This truck ain't no show truck now. So yeah, that's how it looks, and I'm gonna bring you back for the final product, and we'll call it a night. I'll get the engine running, that way the lights are nice and bright. I'll turn off this house light. Weird. The running lights turn off when you have the headlights on. I don't know what that's all about. The rear lights are still on. Do the turn signals still work? It's dimming the headlight. There's still something wrong then, but we're getting closer. I haven't really done anything to the rear lights yet, so we'll see. Oh, that one's working. Well, the wiring's right in the front, so I gotta look to the back. that's gonna be it for tonight. Well, that's gonna be it for tonight. We'll figure out the rest, you know, tomorrow or the next day. Something screwy in there still, but I redid the wiring on the front lights, so I think it's going to be something having to do with the brakes or under the dash inside the truck. So anyways, we're going to end the video here, and I'm going to get back after it tomorrow most likely. Thanks for watching.